The concept of the scapegoat, and what we often call the black sheep, has existed for thousands of years. It appears in religious texts, ancient rituals, and cultural traditions across the world. Sometimes it shows up within the family, where one person is singled out and made to carry the blame for everything that goes wrong. Other times, it emerges at the level of society, where an individual or group is pushed aside for refusing to conform. The context may change, but the pattern remains the same. There is always someone chosen to carry what others do not want to face. In this video, we'll look at how this scapegoating pattern appears across cultures and why it continues to repeat itself. The term black sheep comes from early European farming societies, where white wool was valued because it could be dyed, while black wool could not. A black sheep stood out, not just in appearance, but in usefulness. Around the same time, in ancient Hebrew tradition, another concept existed: the scapegoat. In the ritual described in Leviticus, a goat was symbolically burdened with the sins of the community and sent into the wilderness. Over time, these two ideas merged in human behavior. The one who stands out often becomes the one who carries what others refuse to face. You can see this pattern most clearly in the story of Jesus Christ, whose life and death have shaped entire civilizations. He challenged authority, exposed hypocrisy, and forced people to confront uncomfortable truths. But instead of being understood, he was rejected and executed. This is where the work of René Girard becomes especially important. Girard developed mimetic theory, the idea that humans imitate each other's desires, which can create rivalry, tension, and conflict within a group. According to him, when that tension builds, societies resolve it by unconsciously selecting a scapegoat, someone to blame, isolate, and remove in order to restore unity. What makes the story of Jesus unique is that the scapegoating mechanism is exposed rather than hidden. The narrative makes it clear that he was innocent, yet he is still condemned. This reveals a deeper truth about human nature, that groups can unite not around truth, but around shared accusation, projecting what they refuse to face onto a single individual. Another case is Galileo Galilei, one of the most important figures in the history of science, whose observations helped reshape humanity's understanding of the universe. Galileo supported the idea that the Earth was not the center of existence, but rather moved around the sun, an idea that directly challenged the dominant beliefs enforced by powerful institutions at the time. For this, he was not simply debated, he was judged, silenced, and placed under house arrest. In many ways, Galileo became a societal scapegoat, punished not because he was wrong, but because his truth disrupted the stability of the system. Like the black sheep in a toxic family, his role was to carry the tension created by a reality others were not ready to accept. Another case is the life of Joan of Arc, one of the most significant figures in French history, known for her role in leading French forces during the 100 Years' War. She rose from an ordinary background and claimed to be guided by divine visions, which gave her both influence and suspicion. While her leadership brought victories and inspired many, it also made those in power uneasy. Over time, she was captured, handed over, and put on trial, where she was labeled a heretic. Rather than being protected for what she had accomplished, she was condemned and executed. When someone gains influence outside of established structures, especially through unconventional means, they are often pushed aside once they become inconvenient. You can also see this pattern in the life of Confucius, one of the most influential figures in Chinese history. He taught principles of morality, accountability, and ethical leadership, often criticizing the corruption and disorder he saw within those in power. But instead of being embraced, his ideas made many rulers uncomfortable. He spent years moving from state to state, often rejected and pushed aside, because his teachings challenged the behavior of those who govern. The more he exposed what was wrong, the more he was distanced from positions of influence. His experience reflects the same pattern. When someone calls for integrity within a system that benefits from disorder, they are often excluded rather than heard. The case of Nelson Mandela shows how this pattern plays out in modern political systems. He was labeled a threat, imprisoned, and isolated because he challenged injustice. That label created distance, making it easier to justify his removal. But over time, that same distance exposed the truth. The narrative collapsed, and the person once treated as the problem became a symbol of leadership. The role itself didn't change, the perception did. And when you look at modern society, the pattern is still active, just more refined. When systems begin to fail, or when leadership avoids accountability, attention is often redirected toward a specific group or individual. It may be framed around various distinctions like beliefs, origins, or personalities, but the structure is the same. A group or person is identified as different. That difference is emphasized to alienate them. And over time, they are associated with the system's problems or society's challenges. This is not random, it is strategic. Leaders have long understood that it is easier to unify people against a target than to fix what is broken. So the system protects itself by shifting blame. And once you begin to see that, something changes. You stop taking the role personally. You begin to recognize the pattern for what it is, not a reflection of your worth, but a function of the system.